Imagine waking up one morning and finding out that the biggest, most famous family in the entire world is falling apart. You probably think of kings and queens as people who live in perfect fairy tales where nothing ever goes wrong. But right now in the big palaces of England, there's a very loud and very scary storm happening. A prince has been taken away by the police, and his daughters are crying because they are being kicked out of the family's biggest parties. It is a story full of secrets, big mistakes, and a future king who has decided that enough is enough. Imagine having a secret so big that it could break a whole kingdom. That is what is happening right now behind the giant stone walls. We are going to talk about why these princesses are so scared, what the prince did to get in so much trouble, and how the royal family is changing the rules forever so this never happens again. Put on your thinking caps because this is a real-life mystery that is changing history right before our eyes. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor used to be a very famous prince with a lot of power, but now his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are getting ready to have some very serious and very scary talks this weekend. This is happening because people are saying that their father was arrested by the police. It is a very big deal because he used to be a very high-ranking member of the royal family. They say he was taken away on his very own birthday, which should have been a happy day. The police think he did something wrong while he was working in his big office for the people. Because of this, his daughters are feeling very, very upset. They are so sad that they are shaking and they feel truly horrified by what is happening to their dad. It is a very dark and scary time for them and they do not know what to do next. Behind the big golden gates of the palace, things have been getting very tense for a long time. The royal family is like a big team, but some of the people on the team are not getting along at all. For many years, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie tried very hard to stay calm. They wanted everyone to think everything was okay. They stayed right by their father, Prince Andrew, even when people were saying very mean and bad things about him. They were very brave and tried to keep a smile on their faces while the world talked about his big mistakes. But now, even they cannot keep things together anymore. Everything they worked for is starting to break into little pieces, and they are very worried about what will happen to their family name. Now things are getting even worse for the two sisters. They have been told that they are not allowed to go to a very famous horse race called Royal Ascot in June. This is a huge party where all the royals wear fancy clothes and ride in beautiful carriages. But this year Beatrice and Eugenie are banned. They won't be allowed to sit with their family or join the big parade that everyone watches on TV. People who know the family say that Prince William had a very serious talk with the sisters. He told them some secrets that were so big and so scary that the sisters were left shaking. They were so upset that they could barely stay standing. They are wondering what William found out that was so bad it changed everything. For a very long time, the British royal family has been trying to forget about a very bad thing that happened. They wanted to move on and be happy again. But lately, some very quiet and very strong choices have been made inside the palace. These choices show that the leaders of the family are now very serious about protecting their good name. They don't want anyone to think the royal family is bad. At the middle of all this trouble are Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. They are the daughters of Prince Andrew and his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. For most of their lives, people liked the two sisters. They seemed like nice, normal people who worked hard and tried to be good members of the family, even when their dad was in trouble. Many people who watched the royals thought that Beatrice and Eugenie were being treated unfairly. They thought the sisters were being blamed for things their father did, even though they had nothing to do with it. They felt sorry for the girls, but now the feeling inside the palace has changed. People who work there say that the big leaders of the family are starting to ask hard questions. They want to know if Beatrice and Eugenie are really as innocent as they say they are. People are starting to whisper about where the sisters get their money and who their friends are. They are worried that the sisters might be too close to some very bad people that their father used to know a long time ago. No one has proven that the sisters did anything illegal in a court of law, but the royal family is under a lot of pressure. People all over the world are watching them and they want to see the royals doing the right thing. Because of this pressure, the royal family had to act fast and make some very tough choices. These choices have been very hard on the sisters. One of the biggest signs that things were changing was when the sisters were told they could not go to Royal Ascot. For many years, this horse race has been a very important time for the family. It is when they show everyone that they are strong and together. Being told you can't go is like being told you are not part of the family anymore. Being kicked out of Royal Ascot is not just a small problem. It is a very big message to the whole world. It tells everyone that the sisters are in big trouble. Sources say that King Charles III was the one who made the final choice. He had many long talks with other people in the palace before he decided. It is also said that Prince William and his wife, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, thought this was the right thing to do. They believe that the royal family cannot have any links to bad scandals anymore. They want the family to be clean and perfect so that people will trust them again. They felt that even looking like they were connected to bad things was too dangerous for the crown. For a long time, King Charles tried to protect his nieces. He knew they were his brother's children and he didn't want them to suffer for their dad's mistakes. He tried to keep them safe from the mean things people were saying, but as more people got angry and more news came out, it became impossible to ignore the problem. The pressure was just too big. Finally, a big decision was made that changed everything. Now that it is early 2026, people inside the palace say that Beatrice and Eugenie are being erased from the official royal plans. They used to get invitations to every big party, but now the mail has stopped coming. They are being pushed further and further away from the heart of the family. This move is part of a very big plan that is happening behind the scenes. The royal family knows that they can only keep being kings and queens if the people trust them. After so many years of bad news and fighting, the family wants to prove that having a fancy title doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. They want to show that even if you have royal blood, you still have to follow the rules. Anyone who could make the family look bad is now seen as a danger. Prince William is becoming very powerful and he wants to make sure the palace is very strict. He does not have much patience for people who bring trouble to the family name. But the most shocking part of this story might not be the fact that they were banned from the horse race. There's a much bigger secret hidden behind that choice. This secret is what really made Beatrice and Eugenie feel so sad and broken. Everyone is asking the same thing. What did Prince William find out about his cousins? Was it something so bad that it could never be fixed? People are starting to wonder if the truth is much scarier than anyone ever thought. It is a mystery that has everyone in the palace talking in hushed voices. We need to look closer to see what William actually found in his secret search for the truth. Inside the palace walls, a very big change has been happening for a few months. The royal family decided they were tired of secrets and risks. They didn't want any more surprises that could hurt their reputation. They made a very brave choice that surprised everyone who follows the royals. They decided that doing their duty and being honest was more important than being loyal to family members who do wrong things. Protecting the monarchy, which is the system of having a king and queen, became the most important job of all. Two very strong people led this change, Prince William and his aunt, Princess Anne. They are both known for being very serious about their jobs. Prince William and Princess Anne both believe that the royal family must always be perfect and stay away from trouble. They started looking into some worries that people had been talking about for a long time. These worries were about Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. At first, they were just having normal talks, but soon it turned into a real investigation. Princess Anne took charge of this project. She's known for being very organized and acting like a soldier when she has a job to do. She treated this investigation very seriously because she knows how important it is for the family to stay out of trouble, but she was not doing it all by herself. Prince William had already started worrying about his cousins near the end of the year 2025. He was worried about the businesses they were running and where their money was coming from. He didn't think they were being honest enough about what they were doing outside of the palace. At first, he just gave them some small warnings. William had made some new rules about how royals should handle their money. He wanted everyone to show exactly where their money came from so that no one could say they were doing something sneaky. Most people in the family followed these rules right away, but Beatrice and Eugenie did not. They kept making excuses and waiting to show their papers. To the people in charge, like William and Anne, this was not just a small mistake. In a world where everyone has a camera and the news is always on, being secretive is a very bad idea. It makes people think you are hiding something even if you aren't. Because the sisters wouldn't show their papers, William and Anne started to get very worried. Princess Anne started putting together a big folder full of information. This folder looked at all the money the sisters had and all the people they did business with. What she found in that folder was very troubling. It seemed like some of their business partners were the same people who were friends with their dad and the bad people he knew. This was a very big problem. Even if the sisters didn't do anything that would get them sent to jail, just being near those bad people was dangerous. It made the royal family look bad. The family is already trying very hard to make people forget about the past, and this new information made it look like the trouble was still happening. They couldn't just look the other way. Then things got even crazier. In February of 2026, some people who were looking into a very famous court case asked to talk to people who knew the sisters. The sisters were not being blamed for a crime, but their names were being mentioned in the investigation. This changed everything inside the palace. To William and Anne, it felt like the family was standing at a fork in the road. If they let Beatrice and Eugenie keep coming to big events while these questions were still hanging over them, the whole family could get in trouble later. They didn't want to deal with a big media storm or legal problems in the future. So Princess Anne took her big folder of secrets to the king. She was very honest with him about the risks. She showed him how the sisters didn't follow the new rules and how their money was connected to some very questionable people. She warned the king that if they didn't act now, the royal family could be in big trouble later on. When Beatrice and Eugenie found out what was happening, they were very, very sad. There were many tears behind closed doors. The sisters felt like they were being picked on and that it wasn't fair. They couldn't believe their own family was doing this to them, but Anne and William didn't see it as a personal fight. To them, it was just about protecting the crown. They believed that in today's world, the royal family has to be perfect. They cannot have any secret money or friends that might be bad. Every single person who represents the king must be someone that everyone can trust. If they aren't, the people who don't like the royals will use it against them. Because of this, the royal family decided to be very firm and move forward without them. They wanted to protect their future and make sure people still liked them. They started taking some very big steps that showed the world they were going in a new direction. But what were those steps exactly? And how far was the palace willing to go to keep the crown safe? We have to look at the very powerful choices that were made in secret. It was a time when the family had to choose between being nice to their relatives or being a good monarchy. They chose the monarchy, and that meant things were going to get very difficult for Prince Andrew and his daughters. Prince Andrew is now called Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in the palace, and he has become a very big problem for the family. He used to be a very important person, but now his power is gone. In March of 2026, people say he is completely cut off from the rest of the family. He is living in a house, but he is not allowed to help with any royal work. It is like he is trapped in a very bad dream that he cannot wake up from. He is facing legal fights, and the whole world is saying bad things about him. He feels very alone because almost no one wants to be his friend anymore. His life has changed in a way that has never happened to a royal before. People who live near him say he is very, very sad and feels like he is falling apart inside. He has to deal with lawyers all the time, and the news is always saying something bad about him. Because he was friends with a very bad man named Jeffrey Epstein, people can't stop talking about him. Every time a new secret comes out, it makes his reputation even worse. It also makes things harder for his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. Their names get dragged into the news because of him, and that makes the whole royal family look bad. It isn't just a small family fight, it has become a huge problem for the whole country of England. For a long time, Prince Andrew thought he could fix everything. He thought if he just fought hard enough in court or tried to look nice in private, people would forget. He worried about small things like where he could park his car or going to parties while a giant storm was growing around him. He didn't see how much damage he was doing to the rest of his family. His refusal to see the truth was a disaster. Every time he tried to defend himself, it just made people more curious and brought more bad attention to the king. It was like he was pulling everyone else down into a deep, dark hole with him. Even King Charles did not want to be mean to his brother at first. They grew up together and he loved him. It is very hard to be cold to your own brother, but the king knew that he had to be the leader of the country first. He realized that if he didn't stop Andrew, the whole royal family could fail. Princess Anne and her team of helpers saw this too. They knew that they had to separate the sisters from their father's bad reputation. They knew that if they waited too long, the damage would be so bad that it could never be fixed. The Epstein scandal is a very big and very painful problem that won't go away. The people in charge of the palace know that their reputation is the most important thing they have. If people don't respect them, they can't be royals anymore. Any link to the bad people Andrew knew is a very big risk. What used to be seen as just a family problem is now seen as a big challenge for the whole government. The public has run out of nice things to say. They are judging the royals very strictly now. There is no more room for making excuses or trying to hide things. Andrew's world is being taken apart piece by piece, and every time he tries to stop it, things just seem to get worse for him. Now that these big choices have been made, there are new rules for everyone in the family. These rules were made to keep the monarchy safe for a long time, but it makes people wonder who else will have to leave the family to keep the crown safe. The palace is being very tough, and it seems like they're willing to say goodbye to anyone who causes trouble. As we look at these details, we can see how the whole system is being rebuilt. They are creating a new version of the royal family that is much more disciplined. It is a very serious time, and everyone is watching to see who will be the next person to get in trouble. In early 2026, the royal family started a new chapter. It wasn't about the old ways of doing things anymore. Instead, it was about having a clear structure and following the rules. Prince William is the one who is designing this new way of living, and Princess Anne is helping him. They have created a set of rules that some people call the Magna Carta of the Windsor House. This is a big list of rules that every single royal has to follow. It doesn't matter if you are a big famous royal or someone who stays at home, you have to follow the rules now. It is no longer enough just to be born into the family. You have to earn your place. The new rules say that being a royal is a very important job that comes with many responsibilities. If you don't do your job well, you will lose your special privileges. One of the most important new rules is about being honest. Any royal who has a lot of money or property has to let a special group of people check their records every year. These checks are very thorough. They look at who your business partners are and if you're doing anything that could cause a scandal. They want to make sure no one is doing anything sneaky behind the king's back. Every single social contact and every dollar spent is being watched very closely now. These rules also say that royals are not allowed to be friends with anyone who is in big trouble with the law. They cannot have any business ties to people who are being investigated for crimes. This is to make sure that no one can say the royals are helping bad people. Also, royals have to be neutral, which means they can't take sides in big arguments about politics. If a royal wants to be a business person or an activist, they might have to give up their title and leave the family officially. This makes sure that the crown stays away from any messy public fights. Everything is being done to make the family look unified and professional. There are also different levels of punishment if someone breaks the rules. If you make a small mistake, like wearing the wrong thing or saying something a little silly, you might just get a talking to or be told to stay home for a while. But if you do something worse, like being dishonest about your money, you could lose your special jobs and be told that the family is disappointed in you. The most serious level of punishment is for people who do things that really hurt the family's reputation. For those people, they can be kicked out forever. They can lose their titles, their bodyguards, and even their place in line to be the next king or queen. This isn't just a story, it is already happening. We saw it when Prince Andrew lost his special titles a few years ago. Then in 2025, he was pushed even further away. This showed everyone that the king is not afraid to punish his own family. The message is very clear. If you threaten the family's good name, you're gone. The leaders of the palace don't want to wait for problems to get big. They want to find them while they're small and fix them right away. They believe that being quiet and hoping things go away doesn't work anymore. Now they are being very active and making sure everyone follows the rules perfectly. These new rules have changed the whole game for the royals. Behind all the fancy dresses and big parties, there's now a very serious system of checking on everyone. Prince William and Princess Anne are the ones making sure these rules are followed every day. They are like the guardians of the family's honor. Most of the people in the country seem to like these new rules. For a long time, people were frustrated that royals could do whatever they wanted just because they were rich and famous. Now they see that the royals are being held to the same standards as everyone else. It makes the people feel like things are finally fair. Under this new system, the palace is acting more like a modern business than an old-fashioned kingdom. Everyone has to be responsible and show that they are good people. This is why Beatrice and Eugenie got into so much trouble. They didn't want to follow the rules about being honest with their money in late 2025. This made the leaders of the family very suspicious. When they looked closer, they found that the sisters had business ties that were just too risky. Because of this, they were put in the highest level of risk. They were the very first people to feel the full power of these new rules, and it was a very big shock to everyone. Being banned from the horse race at Royal Ascot was a very public way to show their punishment. To people who aren't royals, it might just seem like missing a party. But in the royal world, being at Ascot is a sign that the king likes you and trusts you. If you aren't there, everyone knows you are in the doghouse. By telling the world months in advance that the sisters were not invited, the palace was sending a very strong signal. They were saying that the old days of letting things slide are over. Now, if you don't follow the rules, the whole world is going to know about it. This new way of doing things means the palace is being very proactive. They aren't waiting for a scandal to happen, they are stopping it before it starts. The decision about Ascot showed two big things. First, it showed that you must follow the rules about being honest. Second, it showed that if you are connected to bad things, you are a liability. The family is rebuilding its image to be about integrity and doing the right thing. While this is happening, Prince Andrew is watching from far away. He is realizing that the world he once knew is gone. He is no longer untouchable, and his own actions have caused his downfall. Now everyone is asking how much more damage will be done. Are there more secrets that haven't been told yet? The whispers in the palace are getting louder. People are worried that Andrew's current state could cause even more problems. He is living in a house called Royal Lodge, but even that is being changed and cleaned by the people who work for the crown. It is a symbol of how he is being removed from everything. To the king and the rest of the leaders, Andrew is like a sickness that they have to keep away from the rest of the family. They know that every time he is in the news, the family suffers. Insiders say that Andrew is having a very hard time mentally. He's being watched very closely because people are worried he might hurt himself. He is acting very strangely and thinks people are out to get him. He doesn't seem to understand that his own choices are the reason he is in trouble. Even though it is sad to see a person struggle like this, the royal family has to stay strong. They believe that the survival of the crown is more important than how one person feels. They have to think about the whole country and the future of the monarchy. They can't let one person's mistakes ruin it for everyone else. The sad part of this story is that Andrew really thought his royal name would protect him forever. He thought he was special and that the rules didn't apply to him. But he learned the hard way that being a royal is a job that requires you to be a good person. When he broke the trust of the people, he lost his protection. Losing his titles and having his daughters pushed away are the final steps in his journey down. The York experiment, which was the idea of having his family be part of the royal circle, is now over. It is a lesson for everyone else in the family. No one is safe if they don't behave. The royal family is making it very clear that having royal blood doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. They are changing how they look to the world. They are making sure everyone knows that accountability and discipline are the most important things now. While all this drama is happening, there is one person who is bringing hope back to the family. That person is Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She has been away for a long time because she was very sick with a disease called cancer. But now the palace has said she is coming back. She will be at the royal ascot with the king. Catherine's return is a very big deal. It shows that the family is still strong and can get through hard times. Her being there is a big contrast to Beatrice and Eugenie being banned. While the York sisters are being sent away because of secrets and scandals, Catherine is being welcomed back because she is a symbol of hard work and duty. She is the person that many people see as the heart of the new royal family. The palace timed these announcements perfectly. They showed the bad news about the sisters and the good news about Catherine at the same time to show that the family is moving toward a better future. The message is that the royal family is getting rid of the weak parts so it can be stronger. They are no longer a place where you can hide if you do bad things. They have a system now where everyone is checked and held responsible for what they do. The events of early 2026 are the end of a long journey to fix the family. They have moved from an old way of doing things to a new, modern way with clear rules and strong leaders. Prince William and Princess Anne have shown that they are ready to lead the family into the future. They are making sure that duty and honesty are the most important parts of being a royal. In the end, the British monarchy is trying to show that they can change and be better. They have learned that they need the people to trust them to survive. By enforcing these new rules and being honest about their problems, they are hoping to build a future that will last for a long time. They have chosen to be tough on their own family members to protect the crown. It is a very big and very difficult choice, but they believe it is the only way. The story of the York sisters and Prince Andrew is a sad one, but it shows that the king is serious about his job. Duty, transparency, and accountability are the new words that everyone in the palace must live by if they want to stay. What do you think about this? Do you think it is fair to push family members away to save the monarchy? It is a very big question that people will be talking about for a long time.